Next, we will hear from Ms. Myers from Northern Virginia Community College.
Yes, let me just pull up my presentation really quick and we'll go ahead and get started. Are you guys able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So again, thank you for having me. My name is Chandra Myers. I am a counselor over at Northern Virginia Community College, specifically the Woodbridge campus. But I work with students from Prince William County, Manassas City, and Manassas Park. So I know that you all are juniors. So at this point, you're kind of doing your research in determining where you plan to attend, and then what you need to do to kind of start that application process. So just tonight, I wanted to give some general information about NOVA as well as opportunities offered by the college. So in terms of NOVA, we are actually the largest public institution in Virginia when it comes to education. We're the second largest community college in the US. So that means that we have an expensive amount of students who attend. So over 70,000 students who represent 180 countries. So that means that we are extremely diverse, and it's definitely a reflection of our community up here in the northern region. In terms of programs, we offer 120 or more than 120 degrees at the associate's level, as well as the certificate programs. And I'll get into that in just a bit. But as you can see, offer tons of programs, no matter your interest. So if you're thinking about, completing a degree at NOVA and then transferring to a four-year school, or going into the workforce, or trying to get some type of certification, we offer it all so that we can make sure that we are meeting the needs of our students. In terms of campus locations, so throughout the region, we have 6 campuses. They are in Alexandria, Annandale, Loudoun, Manassas. We have our medical education campus, which is located in Springfield. That's for students who are pursuing some of those special admissions, health sciences programs, and then the Woodbridge campus. As a student at NOVA, you can attend any campus. You don't need to do anything additional. You just, register for classes where you plan to attend, and that's it. Additionally, we do offer classes online. So some benefits for attending NOVA. Of course, the first thing that you should be considering is cost, right? So how much is it going to cost me to attend college? That's a big thing. So in terms of affordability, we are about 1/4 of the cost of a four-year institution. So that's major. That means that you're going to be saving a lot of money. We have less stringent admissions requirements. So what that means is that there's no application deadline for us. We do what's called rolling admissions. Students kind of apply and they will take courses based on the semester that they plan to enroll. There's no application fee. You all will learn that applying to college can get very expensive. So again, another way to save money. There's no essay requirement, no SAT, ACT requirement, no placement test, no letter of recommendation. There are some things that we use to kind of consider college readiness for your English and math class. But again, it's not going to be the type of admission requirements that you will see at some of the four-year institutions. In terms of classroom sizes, in comparison to four-year institutions, our maximum amount of students in a class will be 40. Whereas when you compare it to some of those larger colleges and universities, some of those lecture classes may have 200 people in there. If you know that you're a student who is easily distracted, maybe that's something to consider as you are making your decision in where you plan to attend college. For our classes, again, you can go to any of our campuses. We'll offer that traditional face-to-face instruction. We also have online. We have that virtual format. So just like we're meeting now via Zoom, we offer that for our students. And then of course, weekend and evening classes to again, meet the needs of our students, because we know that not every student is the same. You may have some outside obligations that require you to take maybe evening classes because you're working during the day. For students who start at NOVA, our data has shown that students achieve greater academic success when they start at the community college and then transfer to a four-year school. It's because you've kind of had that preparation, right? So you're still in college like your peers who may have started at a four-year school. But again, it's very different because you are, again, in a smaller setting, you're closer to home and things like that. So that gives you more motivation to actually complete the bachelor's degree, right? Because sometimes when you go to those four-year schools, it's a culture shock for you. And there's tons of independence that you may not have been used to, prior to going to college. The biggest thing that students love about NOVA is the transfer opportunities. So we have tons of articulation agreements with four-year schools. There's also the GAA, which is the Guaranteed Admissions Agreement. And then we have our advanced partnership with George Mason. And then in just a few more slides, I'll speak to all of those types of opportunities for students. Just wanted to show you this little graphic really quick, the infographic. Sorry, Rachel. In terms of affordability, right? So NOVA is considered a best educational value, right? So what you're looking at is the cost per semester to attend NOVA versus some of the four-year schools. So this is based on the tuition and fee rates from last year. So as a student at NOVA, right? Those 2 years that you're taking classes, especially as like a transfer student when you want to go to a four-year school, but you're starting at NOVA, those classes that you take your first 2 years will be most, if not all of the classes that you would take your first 2 years at a four-year school, unless of course it's some type of specialty program. So when we look at it, right, again, NOVA is significantly less expensive. So for a semester, that's about 4 months. Students at NOVA are paying, anywhere from $2,200 to about $3,400 for their classes, versus when you're looking at somewhere like Mason, again, for those same exact classes, it's almost $6,300. And again, this is per semester. So this is not the entire academic year. This is just semester by semester. So overall, when you're thinking of the 2 years at NOVA, so you'll be spending maybe $12,000 in your tuition, whereas at a four-year school, you have to keep in mind that those costs are going to include, fees, books, maybe meal plans, residence halls, because you are staying on campus. So you have to factor in all of those costs, but in comparison, you could be saving about $31,000 over the course of 2 years with starting at NOVA. So again, something to keep in mind if finances are of major concern for you when choosing a school. In terms of our transferable degrees, these are just a few examples. There's a full list available online, and I made sure to link it here. You all will have access to a copy of this presentation, but we have about 23 degrees that are designed for transfer. So that means that students would complete 2 years at NOVA. You're going to be focusing on those like general education classes, so your math, science, English, fine arts, things like that. And then some of the introductory level courses for your major at the four-year school. So again, here are just a few examples. So once you transfer over to that four-year school, you'll be a junior, and then you'll focus on the major classes. In terms of our non-transferable degrees, we have about 103 degrees that are designed specifically for students to enter the workforce. So the main difference between the transferable and non-transferable degrees are the types of courses that you would take. So with those transferable degrees, again, you're focusing more on general education courses, intro major classes, and then planning your transfer to that four-year school. Whereas with these non-transferable workforce type degrees, you're going to get a few general education courses, but you're also going to get that hands-on experience that prepares you for employment and give you that experience that you need as you're applying for jobs and getting into those positions. We also have the career and technical programs as well. These are programs that serve as an entry point into some of those non-transferable degrees. So for example, the Administration of Justice program, this is maybe just a year for students to complete. But if you decide at some point that you want to come back to NOVA and complete one of the two-year programs, the courses here are going to feed directly into those workforce program or an associate's degree like our AS in criminology and criminal justice. So again, the courses that you would take here, they won't necessarily take the 2 years as it traditionally would to complete your degree, but the classes that you take here would work if you decide to come back at a later date and pursue one of the two-year associate's degrees. In terms of some of our special programs offered at NOVA, the two that you want to focus on now as juniors, because you're eligible for it, would be our dual enrollment program. We just started the early online college program. It's effective spring 22. There is the guaranteed admissions, advanced. We have something called Year Up, and then honors program. So again, the dual enrollment in early online college, something that students are eligible to kind of pursue now. And then once you become an official NOVA student, then you kind of have access to some of our other programming. So in terms of dual enrollment, the really nice thing about that, of course, is that you are able to gain high school and college credit at the same time, right? So as a student, let's say you're taking dual enrollment English. As long as you get a C or higher in that course, then that means that once you come over to NOVA, and let's say you're pursuing an AS degree in business, that English class that's required for that degree is actually already completed because you've completed it as a dual enrollment student. So again, working to get both high school and college credit. So if that's something that you're interested in, please make sure that you are communicating that with your counselors. You have to be at least 16 years old. You have to demonstrate some college readiness through testing or, proof of that GPA. Once you've kind of done the application portion of it, you'll interview with a dual enrollment counselor and then complete some paperwork and then enroll into the courses. Our newest program is the early online college program. The really amazing thing about this is that students are able to take up to 2 free courses online, absolutely free, so of no charge to you. The difference between the EOC program and dual enrollment is that, again, dual enrollment will satisfy requirements for both your high school, right? So graduation, as well as your NOVA requirement. But with the EOC program, this is specifically like NOVA college courses. This is also online. It's not offered necessarily in the school. It's specifically online. It's open to junior and senior students in Arlington, Fairfax County, and Prince William County. If you know that this is something that you may be interested in, the application has opened. It opened on November 15th. And then it's due, like if it's something, again, that you're interested in, it's due in January. Your classes will begin in February and then end in April. In order to get started with this, you have to complete the NOVA application. If you're a current dual enrollment student, you do not have to reapply to NOVA, but there are some steps on the website that you can absolutely take. If you know that this is an opportunity that you're going to take advantage of, I would just tell you to make sure that you're comfortable with taking those online classes, because you want to make sure that you're doing well in them, because it is a part of your academic record. The guaranteed admissions agreement, that says, as long as a student completes their degree at NOVA, either an AA or an AS, so one of those transferable degrees, you maintain the GPA set between NOVA and that four-year school that you're considering. Make sure that you have completed the minimum number of credit hours at NOVA at the time of application. You earn a C or better in all of your classes or whatever letter grade is required for that agreement, and then submit a letter of intent. You are guaranteed to get into the college or university of your choice that we have that agreement with. So what I mean by that is, let's say you want to go to Mason, right? And you want to study business. So that means that you have to complete your AS Business Administration degree at NOVA. You have to earn a 2.85, have 45 credits at the time of application, meaning that at the time that you're applying to Mason, which is usually your last semester at NOVA, earn a C or higher in all of your courses, you're guaranteed to get into Mason. Some students like this particular program because you don't have to compete against other students to get a spot to go to Mason. You know that you are guaranteed admissions into that school. There is a list of schools that we participate with. The GPA for every school is completely different. The letter of intent is not required for every school. So for example, like Tech, the GPA requirement is a 3.4, VCU is a 2.5. So if you know that this is an opportunity that you've heard about and you're like, this is how I know that I'm going to get into UVA, because maybe your GPA isn't currently strong enough, but you're going to start at NOVA, start doing that research now to determine what are the requirements for that agreement for whatever school you're interested in going into. Oops, sorry about that. The advanced program, again, these are just ways for students to get into those schools of their choice with less stringent admissions applications, just to make it a little easier for you. But the advanced program, it's specifically for students who are going to Mason. So if you know that you plan to go to Mason, but you're going to start at NOVA, you can either transfer as a competitive student, you can transfer under GAA, or you can do advanced. So with advanced, this is where students are working with both NOVA and Mason counselors, receiving that personalized support that you need to make sure that you're on track to complete your bachelor's degree in a timely manner. So with the advanced program, we make sure that course for course, the classes that you take at NOVA are going to be equivalent to the class at George Mason, so that when you transfer, again, you're a junior, you're not having to take any additional classes. It's going to put you right on track to graduate at your designated time. It is something that students would declare once they actually graduate from high school and before you earn 30 credit hours. So basically within your first year at NOVA, if you know that you want to go to Mason and you want to do so under the advanced program, you're going to just make sure that you do it within that year. As you can see in terms of GPA, it's a lot lower than it is for students who want to go to Mason under the guaranteed admissions agreement. Guaranteed admissions agreement requires a 2.85, advanced requires a 2.0. So, it's again a way to make sure that students are persisting between Nova and Mason to make sure that you can at least get into a school and get that bachelor's degree if that's your desire. When you participate in advance, there's no additional GMU application. You're already a Mason student. Students have an opportunity to take classes over at Mason, but you are paying the Mason tuition rate, which is a little more expensive. And you also have access to some of the amenities that some of the Mason students have. Our next program is Year Up. This is specifically for students who are interested in like info technology, maybe our systems technology, cybersecurity, or business entrepreneurship. Year Up is just that. It's a year program that's designed to give students an associate's degree and get them into the workforce within that year. So the program is very intense. Not that it isn't something that you can actually complete and achieve, but it's just an intense program. It is treated as if it's a job. So in that first fall semester, students are enrolled in 15 to 18 credits. So that's 5 or 6 classes per semester. And you're going from 8 to 5 during the day. You're dressing up. Again, it's considered just like your job. If you're late, you get demerit points. You can get, removed from the program if you're not meeting those expectations. In the spring, you are taking additional classes, and you also are doing an internship as well. Most of our students, upon completion of that internship, they are getting offered employment within 4 months of completing their degree at Nova in that internship. So another opportunity, if you know that maybe a 4-year degree isn't for you, but you know that you want a degree and to make some great money, this is something that you may want to look into. 85% of our graduates, again, are employed within 4 months, earning anywhere from $62,000 to $90,000. And that's significant for a student who may be, anywhere from 18 to 20 years old. And this particular program is at our Woodbridge and Manassas campus. So it's not available everywhere, but between those 2 campuses. The honors program, which is our last specialty program, this is for students who, if you know that you are going to transfer to one of those schools that have a higher academic rigor or even stricter admissions requirement, honors program may be something that you want to consider just because it's something that will help you stand out as a candidate who's applying to one of those schools. So the academic rigor is more challenging and stimulating. It's very different from your traditional classes. Instead, it's like seminar style, and you are kind of facilitating that conversation between you and your peers, maximum of 18 students in those classes. And again, it kind of gives you that competitive edge when it comes to applying to those 4-year schools. It just shows that on your transcript as an honors course. The last thing, or almost the last thing, just like your 4-year institution, we have student support services. So we want to make sure that you have the support that you need to do well at Nova. If you're a student who has a 504 plan or maybe even an IEP, those same services are available to you at Nova. You just have to make sure that you get the process started. If you're a student and you know that financially you may be paying for your tuition using some of your parents' military benefits, we have an office for that. We do virtual advising. We have what's called Great Expectations, which is for our students who may be in the foster care system, and then the Nova Systemic if you're into things like robotics. We also have student life at Nova. So to make sure that students feel a part of our campus community, we want to make sure that we are offering programs that are of interest to you, especially if you're spending a lot of time on campus. So we have clubs, organizations, we have sports, we have leadership seminars and conferences, extracurricular activities. So again, things that we offer for students to get involved on campus and kind of establish some of those lifelong learning and relationships amongst one another. So I know that we are limited on time, but if you have questions about Nova, please feel free to email me and I would be happy to assist you. I don't think we have, I see there's some things in the chat, but I don't know if they've been answered. Okay, yes. All right, so that's all that I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Myers. That's great information. Thank you for all those programs. That's wonderful information.